in our bodies and in all living things, proteins are kind of the miniature machines that carry out all the important functions. So the DNA, in our genomes, what it does is it specifies what proteins we have in our bodies. And so if you look in nature, there are all these kind of amazing things that different types of organisms do. Like plants absorb sunlight and use that energy to make molecules. We eat plants and we have proteins that break down those molecules. All the currents flowing through our brains as you're listening to me or I'm talking are mediated by proteins. So proteins basically do everything in biology. And they evolved over millions or billions of years to solve the problems that were relevant during evolution, like being able to run away from predators or being able to really efficiently turn sunlight into making chemical bonds. And so a lot of the study of biology has been sort of figuring out for every biological process what proteins are involved and then understanding what the structures of those proteins are and how they carry out that function. So the idea of protein design is that the space of possible proteins is far, far larger, like astronomically larger than the very small set of proteins that have been explored in evolution. And also, we face a whole new set of problems that weren't relevant during evolution. We're spreading plastic around the world and we'd like to break it down, but there wasn't plastic during evolution. We're heating up the planet, so we want ways of taking greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere. We live longer, so there are diseases like Alzheimer's disease, which are really important. So there are all these new problems that we face, but there aren't really problems to fix them because all the proteins that we knew about until recently were the proteins that came about through evolution and natural selection. So maybe if we waited for a really long time, another millions of years, new proteins would evolve that would solve these problems. But we don't really want to wait millions of years for these problems to be solved. So the idea of protein design is that we've learned now how to make brand new proteins that have new functions, like they can bind to cancer cells and shut them down, or they can mimic pathogens to be really potent vaccines, or they can break down toxic molecules in the environment.